So with the time that we have remaining, I just want to say, number one, on behalf of Shauna, we appreciate you, and we're concerned about you and your family. We are concerned about what happens in Wilmington, and we do not encourage anyone to become apathetic, thinking that all hope is lost and there's nothing that can be done about it. If we all humble ourselves, take a look in that mirror, and not the one that shows the results of our time spent in the gym, but take a look into the mirror that reflects the condition of our soul. I believe that the healing, has started, the healing has started, but I think that the healing will be fortified, and that we will be made whole as a city. So let's continue to lift each other up in prayer. Let's lift our leadership up in prayer. Let's pray for the young people who are going to become the leaders of tomorrow. Let's wrap our arms around them, and let's do what we can to keep them safe, because we live in a perilous world, not just a perilous city, but we live in a perilous world. The world is a much more perilous place today. But I think it can certainly work out okay if we handle it with the proper care, and we take the steps necessary to get us from point A to point B. And as Mark was saying, that he felt that it was time to honor those trailblazers who impacted the young people who have come up through Brown's Boys Club, Jackson Street Boys Club. I think that's fitting and proper for that to be done. But I also want to say, let's continue to honor our predecessors. My predecessors, I'll certainly continue to honor, and I will honor them through how I conduct myself today, because I don't want the sacrifices that were made for me to be wasted. I don't want the time and energy that my parents poured into me to be wasted. All of the love that was sown into me, I don't want that to be wasted. And I look at our heroes, Mr. Jim Gilliam. I know you watching tonight, Mr. Gilliam, and I pray that all is well with you. But I don't want the sacrifices that you made to be wasted. And I want you to be honored, as you have been formally honored in various gala events. But I want you to be honored in a way that I know you as a gentleman would appreciate, and that is through action of those whom you have mentored, those whom you have allowed to come and visit with you and sit down and learn from you. Yes, I've seen some guys who have been mentored by you become successful, and their success is obvious. But I think also that there are some people, such as myself, who have been impacted and influenced by you, and the tough love that you give is powerful. And a lot of times when our elders share things with us, they may think we don't get it, but some of the things that are shared with us from our elders are so profound that they hit us later. It takes me a while to catch up, because a lot of our elders have forgotten more than we know now, So I think that it's very wise to listen to the wisdom from our elders, and I smile because I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the fact that there were footprints left in the sand for us to follow. And I think that we have to give the flowers to our elders while they are still with us. It doesn't take much to make a phone call and check in on our elders. It certainly doesn't take much to say thank you. Thank you to, that neighbor, that family member, that teacher, that pastor, that youth center worker or operator. It doesn't take much to say thank you to that person who has sacrificed and sown into your life to get you to where you are today. And it's true that we make our bed and we have to live in it. So, I mean, if you shrink your world by only being concerned with you and yours, I think you do yourself a disservice, because we all need each other. And if we don't establish relationships, people don't know what you need or where you are. And as we went over in the reading that I did, no man or woman is an island. We are all interconnected, and everybody needs somebody. I don't know anyone who is successful who didn't receive some kind of help along the way. And so those of us who are in position to provide guidance to the young people who are trying to become successful, let us not shrink their opportunities and only make them available if their parents are a member of this fraternity, or if their parents are a member of this lodge. Every parent is not going to be a part of a fraternity. Every parent is not going to be a part of a lodge. But every child deserves a chance. So we have to move away from only helping those who travel in the same social circles as we do. It's not the children's fault that they didn't know about how to pledge. Sometimes it's not even the parents' fault that they didn't know about it, because every family was not college bound. There are some families in which the young people today are first generation college attendees. So there was no history of family involvement with institutions of higher learning. So they couldn't form the bonds of becoming a part of a fraternity. Okay? So that child, don't punish that child because their parents wasn't a part of that. And please, let's open up the information, open up the opportunities, because a lot of the children are being left out because they don't know about opportunities. They don't know about different scholarships, They don't know about what steps are required to gain access to certain information. And it doesn't mean that they're not smart. It doesn't mean that they're not bright. Let's not disqualify them from the path for success. Let's not disqualify them and discount them, because when we do that, we're missing out on building a broader base of gifted, talented, successful young people who are much deserving to be the best that they can be. And these children, as Mr. Pritchard says, these children can learn. So many of our children can learn, and so many of our children are misunderstood. And so therefore, if a child is misunderstood, then sometimes they get miscategorized. What may be perceived as a behavioral problem and then placed into special education, where that child is not slow. That child is not slow. The child may have some things going on at home that they're unwilling or unable to communicate to the teacher or the principal or the guidance counselor. So I thank God that there are a lot of people in education today who come from the community, and a lot of people who are in the educational machine today locally. Some of them once had the displeasure of being mislabeled. You know, Mr. Pritchett makes no bones about it, that in his early educational days, he said that he had a little attitude problem. He had some anger. And if it were not for some of his mentors like Doc Hill and Mr. Gator Lewis, who took an interest in Mr. Pritch and said, look, man, we're going to work with you, but we got to do something about your attitude, you know? And they worked it out. They worked it out. And Mr. Pritch became a strong student. He became a community leader. He was able to obtain a scholarship to college. He was put on a career path that led him back into service as an educator and administrator. But it was because, and he'll tell you this himself as well, it was because somebody helped him, somebody gave him a sense of direction. And sometimes the difference between viability and success and marginalization and failure, sometimes that consequence is held in the balance of someone else's compassion. And, you know, I can personally say that I've had an experience where I felt misunderstood as a younger student. And some of that was because of my personality type. You know, I have a different personality type than a lot of people are used to. And that's cool. I've always been that way. That's how God made me. But some of the people, they labeled me as being difficult. They labeled me as being stubborn. They labeled me as being not a team player. But they didn't understand that I had an introverted personality, you know, and I was not attempting to challenge their authority, but I just was not willing to compromise my set of values. And I didn't learn until later in life that you have to compromise in relationships without compromising your own principles. You know, I believe that we have to coexist, and one of the key elements in coexisting is the ability to compromise. But at the same time, I think that we all have to hold true to our self-respect and command respect from others, you know, because I see you as a young woman or a mature woman. I see you as a young man, a mature man, but I will treat you with respect and expect the same in return. And I think that's reasonable. And with that said, I'm not here to preach to anyone. You know, at home when Shauna's not here with me to co-host, I don't know what's going to come out my mouth. I say let the Spirit lead me, and you know, if I say something and it doesn't quite make sense, listen, charge it to my head and not my heart. However, when the Holy Spirit puts something on me to share with you, I have no choice, because I asked God to use me. And I asked him to let me be a channel for his peace. And that is something that I think is so needed, which is peace. We need the peace in our households. We need the peace in our community. We need the peace in City Hall. We need the peace in Washington. This world needs peace. And with that said, I think I am going to get ready to sign off tonight. But it's been a blessing to spend time with you this evening. I thank you. I thank you for tuning in. And I pray that you receive this program that we've had tonight. I pray that you receive it, you know, in the spirit in which it was delivered to you, which is from a point of respect, love, and concern. And on behalf of Shauna, this is Michael Riley, and I am going to be signing off. But before I go, I want to tell you to please stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. It's about to get live again at 8 o'clock. You got the Congo Hour coming on, you know, with Trippy, you got Wayna, you got Mr. C. And I always get excited as 8 o'clock approaches because I've been watching the Congo Hour for as long as it's been on. Even as a teenager, I would look in the TV guide on Sunday, you know, when they give you the book. And you used to be able to look in the TV guide and you'll see the Congo Hour. I missed that. I want to see each one of these programs highlighted and available in a TV guide because it's important. This is our local least access platform here. This is community television at its finest, and we're here to serve you. And we want you to know when we're on. So I'm looking forward to that day when you can flick the channel and you'll see 8 o'clock Congo Hour. You flick that channel, you'll see 7 o'clock in the upper room. You flick that channel, 9 o'clock, Community Crossfire. Let's make it happen, okay? I don't know how we're going to do it, but let's make it happen. Again, this is Michael Riley. I love you guys. I'm going to say good night, and please stay tuned. Mwah.